Daniel has got a tremendous jab. He's a tremendous puncher. I think he's got a good chin.
Mm-hmm.
And AJ's got a good jab. He's a tremendous puncher. But I think, he gets caught, as we've seen, he's a bit whiskery. I was a bit disappointed for both of them, really, because, it's been a winning team and it's worked. But they had their reasons, and and thankfully it's amicable.
Yeah.
And who knows, they may work together in the future. But Tyson's obviously is very focused and has to be focused on what's happening on the 22nd of February next year. Years ago, they wrote to me and asked me if I would go.
Come on, get in there. Eating bugs would be amazing.
I remember my response to him. I wrote back to him. I said, my idea of bush tucker trial is going to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant.
Right, talk us through.
Where do you want to start?
Well, which one is do you have a special one?
I don't know. I think some of them are all over the years have been covered over.
How thick is it, Frank? Must go back about an inch at least, and poster on poster on poster.
That one, Ben McClellan was obviously was a very tragic fight for Gerald McClellan, but it's probably one of the most brutal fights I've seen in a British ring, and one of the most exciting fights. But it had such a tragic ending for Gerald.
How did it affect you, then? Did you have any second thoughts?
Yeah, I remember speaking to Dr. Adrian Whiteson, when he was the chief medical officer of the boxing world, and driving around conversations with him about it. He said the only way you can make the sport safer is to you walk away. Not me in particular, but we walk away, people who, because we do care about it. Then that's not helping to move it forward.
No.
And now you look at that and look at there's quite an anti-boxing brigade back in those days.
Yeah.
And before then. And now you look at UFC and you look at what goes on, it's nothing compared with boxing. The Naz fights were great fights, there's quite a few of those.
So talk us through the statue. You might get that. Look at this. Get the thing on the bottom as well. I'm assuming that Naz sent you this.
Yeah, he did. I did buy it for myself. He sent me that for a Christmas present.
That probably weighs the same. It weighs the same as what Naz does now, doesn't it?
It's the life. It weighs. I mean, that is life size. That's how he was. But you're probably heavier than that now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, except that.
It's typical Naz, that though.
Yeah.
Typical Naz to send you that.
Yeah.
Let's say Frank, it turned up on Christmas Day.
Yeah. It showed up on Christmas Eve. It was delivered to my house.
Beautiful.
My wife said, it's very nice of him, but where on earth do they put all that? Be looking at.
He must have been a lot of fun to work with.
Early days, he was brilliant.
Yeah.
But then it
obviously went
sour. A lot of these things, it went sour. He got his brothers involved.
Yeah.
There's certainly one of his brothers who was clueless. He knew nothing about boxing, and and it screwed up his career at the end of the day.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. It ruined his career.
Was that one of the most favourable journeys that you went on, Frank?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed working with him. He got it, he understood, and he was, we had a lot of fun. I mean, he even said himself afterwards, he's got on record, he said he should never have left. But it was what it was.
When you were doing his fights and he was coming up with things like the graveyard walkout and the flying
carpet
and all that kind of stuff.
These were all our things.
Really?
Yeah, the graveyard one that was his brother, and what we had to do just before the fight in New York, and he put the fighter's name on the gravestone. And I said, what,
The PR on that would be amazing.
But, it was just, that was HBO, our first HBO show. That was a lot. No, sorry, not in that was in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was what it was. But we had some great fun, and the entrances were good, and it was.
Whose idea was the magic carpet?
I can't remember what that was.
When he flew in on the magic carpet.
But all those in those days, I mean, there was, we'd spend a lot of time and a lot of effort doing that. I mean, no one done them. No one did that sort of stuff. The Americans started copying this.
Yeah.
Do you ever, when you look around this, I mean, when we walked in, obviously this is more.
That was a great night.
That was one of the best nights ever.
Madison Square Gardens against Kevin Kelly. I mean, Kevin Kelly was a local guy. Naz, what's the date of that fight? December 19th, so it was 7 days. Sorry, what's that? 6 days before Christmas.
It's the anniversary, isn't it? It's the anniversary,
yeah. 6 days before Christmas, and everybody said we'd blow our brains going that late, and we it was the highest grossing featherweight fight at the time at Madison Square Gardens, at the proper Madison Square Gardens, and it was no Englishman, no Brit had ever promoted that before, so it was quite good, and the fight was outstanding. And I can remember one of our guests was Donald Trump.
Wow.
Sitting ringside with us.
The fight was amazing. The ring walk lasted about 2 days.
Yeah.
It was great. I mean, they were both bouncing up and down off the floor, weren't they? But there's gained him. Well, George Foreman over that was just before that was his comeback, one of his comeback fights. And I think he won the world title shortly after that. That was a great fight. Joe Calzaghe, Kesler, that was a fantastic fight, brilliant fight.
That was even better. This one here. It's a
Catterall,
lacy fight.
Yeah, and when the background, he wanted to pull out the fight. His dad rang me, said he's pulling out. He said he's banged his hand up, and his dad said he hasn't banged his hand up. He said, you've got to talk to him. So I said, you sure he's all right? He can't fight unless he's all right. He said, yeah. His dad's told me. I took him at his word and I spoke to him. And
He put in a performance of a lifetime.
he threw more punches in that fight, I think, than anybody had thrown in God knows how many
The
years.
history of boxing. Yeah, just
With his bad hand.
it was unbelievable.
It was 4 o'clock in the morning, Manchester Arena. I was at that fight. That was
Great
just-
fight.
I remember driving to Manchester, and all the American press all week had been saying Lacey was going to do him. He was
So was the
gonna
British
end him,
press.
and-
So in the British press, I remember having arguments with a couple of people over it. I said, I don't know what you look like. Because I put Lacey on a couple of times over it, and I was really looking at him, and everybody, he was a big favourite, Lacey. He was winning. I couldn't see it. When we were talking to Joe, and he said, his dad's on his hand, right? I remember saying, I said, listen, you beat me with one hand. You know what? I said, just go and buy a trombone. I said, that's all you need. You're beating one hand. Just go and practice.
Go
on
and
that.
buy a trombone.
I said, you were not missing. You were not missing. By the end of it, he would have wanted to fight him after the phone call that day. But he was up for it, and he'd done a good job.
Do you ever take stock? Do you ever think to yourself,
Yeah, I remember that. That's one of the early days. Keith Wallace is what he's the late Keith Wallace. I've done that.
So did you do a show here, Frank, and then put this on a big screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That was hands on the screen.
Back days, in those days, we sell like with Keith Wallace again. These are really old. These are back in the early 80s, very early 80s. That was good fun. That was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Good night.
The fence. Get the fence out.
It pissed down rain, didn't it? It didn't stop raining. Yeah, it's some good old fights there.
Many more to come.
Welcome to the boardroom with the boss man. Thank you for that little tour.
That's all right.
This room's even better. Some of the things that are
They're all.
situated in here.
Yeah, we got a lot of. Well, the company's got a lot of memorabilia, and yes, quite a bit. There's loads of it still. It's just being sorted out as we speak.
The way you talk about it, you're still as enthusiastic as ever. Does it help when you've got a heavyweight that is coming through at 20 odd years of age that's knocking everybody out?
Well, it does help, but it helps with with some of it. We've got some really good quality youngsters coming through at the moment, and I think next year is going to be a fantastic year for them and for the fans. I mean, some of them are really, they've got tremendous ability, and I think we're on the cusp of having a real sort of new generation, a new crop of youngsters who are going to go on and make a name for themselves.
Is it hard to manage the expectations of fans? Because we all get giddy, don't we? We see this guy knocking people out, and it's like going, get him in with AJ, get him in with this guy, get him in with that guy.
That was Frank yesterday.
That was Frank yesterday. Yeah.
No, but look, I'll be honest with you. You look at scenario. First of all, obviously we're talking about Daniel Dubois. He sparred with all these guys as a young kid, and he's held his own with most of them, with all of them, I think. And he's maturing. He's now just turned 22. He's a very accomplished young man. His boxing skills have dramatically improved. He's got a fantastic jab. We all know what the power he's got. He's been clipped a couple of times in fights, which I don't like to see, but I did like to see because you can see that
He liked it.
yeah, against guys who are coming in with good knockout records. But he, he's got this fight on Saturday, which he's fighting a guy who's 21-1. He lost to Japanese Fujimoto. He lost that fight I think eight years ago, and he's a fighting man, comes from a kickboxing background, and he was the world kickboxing champion, or so I'm told at one time. So, this is a potential banana skin, but I hope he comes through, and if he comes through it, fingers crossed, he does what he should do, then next year we've got to start moving him and working him towards becoming a mandatory challenger, because all the other guys are all tied up.
Yeah.
And I made a comment, at the press conference about him. I'd put him in with AJ. And I'm not being disparaging towards AJ. I think, he got his titles back, and hats off to him. But styles make fights. And Daniel has got a tremendous jab. He's a tremendous puncher. I think he's got a good chin. And AJ's got a good jab. He's a tremendous puncher. But I think, if he gets caught, as we've seen, he's a bit whiskery.
Exciting. You've got us going already now. You've got us going already.
I'm trying to hold back. I'm trying to hold back because
Well, you got to think,
prior to this week, I'm thinking, Daniel, only just 22. We're not up to his 20th fight yet. He was probably about 2-3 years away. There's no rush to get there, because in 18 months' time, hopefully this Fury, Wilder, AJ situation will have sorted itself out. We'll kind of hopefully have one champion, and that's when Daniel moves in. But you see it a bit sooner than that.
well, it won't happen sooner, because obviously they are tied up. And, AJ's got 2 mandatories, which he will have to have, or vacate the title. If he vacates the title, who knows? But Daniel, certainly, I think with his next few fights, will wind up going in the top 3. And I think certainly by November, when they will have their various conventions, I think he'll be a mandatory. And that then they can't avoid fighting whoever's going to be left standing.
And you won't have any hesitation at that point, putting him in with anybody.
No, if he continues to do what he's doing, absolutely not.
What names on the list for next year, Frank? Are we thinking the Charles Martins, the Ruizes, the Brazils of this world? Or?
I'd like to see certainly one of those in there. But I'd like to see a Chisora in there. I'd like to see him in with maybe even a Dillian White, and certainly a Joe Joyce.
That's the one that seems easiest to me.
Well, that's what.
Do they both want it, both camps? Because it doesn't seem like the right fight for Joe Joyce, because he needs a world title.
Well, Joe's sort of moved. He's obviously an older guy. And he's got tremendous amateur experience. He's going.
He's got a big fight in January, hasn't he?
In January 11th, he's going to fight and Huck
yeah.
in Germany for the European title. Now, if he wins that, Daniel's got the British Commonwealth, and then to fight for the European would be a tremendous thing. And if he were to beat Joe, big if he beats Joe, that's a hell
of a fight, that, because both guys, from what we've seen so far, are made out of concrete, and they can both whack a little
tough.
bit.
I mean, he's got a good chin, Joe, hasn't he?
Yeah, very good.
Chin, and he's got a good engine in him. So, everybody have a view on it, like they did with the Nathan Gorman fight. Everybody has their opinion. That's what boxing's about. It's about opinion. But they are good fights for the fans to make.
Going into the Gorman fight, a lot of, it was mentioned yesterday, a lot of the press had Gorman, tipped them to win the fight. You were promoting both guys. What's that like when you've kind of got both lads, but you think
Daniel,
you're going to have to fight?
Daniel was with me from day one. The fight was made by the boxing board.
Yeah, they called
and
it.
neither of them would pull out. So the fight went ahead. Everybody's view of the fight, not necessarily the majority of people's view, is that Daniel, after 4 rounds, was going to get his head boxed off. But it turned out that he was, on the night, his jab was that, for me, was what was the difference between the two of them.
Yeah.
His jab was superb, and he boxed really well. And Nathan caught him a really good, caught him a good shot.
Yeah.
So, on the night, the better man won. Nathan, it's not the end of Nathan, by the way. He's coming back. We're sorting him out for next year. I want to get him moving. But that showed another side of Daniel. But I could see there that he could box, and I thought, he's been talked a lot as a one-trick pony, which he's not.
Talk to me about some of the other lads that you promote. On this card in particular, you've got Liam Williams there.
Yeah.
Character, isn't he?
Yeah, he is a character. But the thing that has impressed me the most, since he stepped to 160, he looks a totally different guy.
Well,
he looks so comfortable.
I was just about to say, he's saying he's more comfortable at the weight. He's got he's in with a guy who's, quite a bit of a freak in as much as the size that he is for his weight. He's 6'5". I thought he was 6'4". He told us yesterday, corrected us. He's 6'5", and he's number one. So Liam's fighting to get in that one spot. If he gets in that, if he beats him and gets in that one spot, then Andrade has got to fight him. providing Andrade, I think he's fighting in January as well.
Yeah, he is,
provided he comes for his fight. So, it's all there for him to get.
Has he surprised you, Liam, off the back of the Liam Smith fights, the way that he has developed over the last 12 to 15 months?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously had a change from his previous trainer, Gary. He was a lovely bloke, but maybe that change suited him. I don't know, but he's gone up with Dominic Ingle, and Dominic's and him have sort of built a good rapport between them, and he's done extremely well now. And I think he's got the bit between his teeth.
Yeah.
Mr. Angry, and he looks like now he's in a good place.
No, he is.
But he's got a tough fight in his hand. But we've delivered for him home advantage, so we've done everything we can do. Now it's up to him.
Are you excited about the weekend with maybe a new demographic of fan coming to the Copper Box with Tommy being on the card?
Well, we will see, won't we? I mean, it's amazing when you think he's let's get right. He's a novice. We all know that. Yeah. So we're not trying to sell it other than that. But he's on Love Island. He's done extremely well now. He's now, as a result of that, got 2.9 million Instagram followers.
Yeah.
And he was the fourth most Googled person in the UK this year.
Were you third, Frank? Were you third or second or third? Were you this year?
And I said to John Rooney yesterday, we'd probably get on Craigie Island, Father Ted and me. But he's got a very high profile, so that works in some ways, but it's also puts a lot of pressure on him, in as much that he's now got a situation where, although I would think the majority of those people who see him and watch him, they probably are not boxing fans, so we're going to see where there's a crossover. But more importantly, in their heads, they're probably thinking, why is he not fighting for a world title yet?
Yeah. So, plus, as well as that, we're living in an age now where we're seeing non-boxers boxing, and what it is important, speaking to him yesterday, it's important for him to now just remind everybody what he actually is. He's not a reality show.
That's why he got there, isn't it? He got the strength of his boxing and so on. So he's there and he's done well. And as you say, there's this sort of reality fights that are all being bandied about. And one happened, was it with his KSI guy and Logan, whatever his name is. That for me, and I don't take anything away from the guys. They trained hard, they worked hard, they took their lumps in there. But that, you mustn't look at that as a boxing fan.
No.
I think that's the...
Yeah, I mean, we've said, haven't we? We had no problem with it. It was just, as long as it was marketed in a way where people understand what it is.
What it is, yeah. I mean, it's just like a white collar fight. I mean, the fact they licensed them in California, which I thought was pretty pathetic, but it's to me, it's a white collar fight.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. It's, it's the, who's the best fighter, and our office is going to fight your office, or I'm the... That's what it is. Like this. You get the lawyers, don't you? They do their little white collar night. That's what it was. It's the internet guys. I mean, looking at what I looked at their endeavours, they've done extremely, well to pair of them doing whatever they did for 6 rounds. But it's hard. You wouldn't be, if you was holding a Southern Area title, you wouldn't be too worried about it, would you?
It's such a vital part of life today, though, isn't it? Social media. It's free. It's free
It's
marketing.
taken
Do you
over,
encourage your fighters to get on social media?
Well, obviously, we all use. You got to use whatever marketing tools there are to promote and generate interest and sell tickets for fights, and we obviously do all that. But sometimes I look at it and I sort of pull my hair out of it. But what I've got left, and I think to myself, it's I don't know. Some of it's really good and some of it's not so good.
Yeah.
I don't like all the silly, some of the spats, the backwards and forwards crap. Some of that I find pathetic. But.
Fans buy into that though.
Yeah, they do.
With Tommy, obviously benefiting so greatly in terms of social media and his newfound celebrity status, whether he likes it or not. Would you encourage maybe Josh Warrington to go on?
The jungle,
or Daniel Dubois to go on Strictly Come Dancing,
if they want to go and eat bugs and have all crap poured over them and do all that, then good luck to them.
Well, sell tickets though, Frank, when they come out.
Yeah,
that's
of course it does. I mean, years ago, they wrote to me and asked me if I would go.
Come on, get in there. Eating bugs would be amazing.
I remember my response to him. I wrote back to him. I said, my idea of a bush tucker trial is going to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant, and that's it. That's my bush tucker trial. I'm going to be eating bugs and having things stuck up my nose. I'm not interested. Look, if they want to do it, and it's people want to do that, good luck to them, and that's their life. They can do what they like. But the Strictly thing, I think, is a different.
Yeah.
I think that's quite.
You're in for that, are you? Would you do that?
I'm too old for it. But, what I've, with that, I think that's got a bit more dignity about it.
Yeah. Plus
And
you
I
learn
don't
new
get
stuff.
it. People I know very well have gone on the old, I'm a celebrity, and obviously a lot of people have a lot of interest in it, and they obviously have an interest. It's a successful program, but I'll just give me a head in a box and somebody pouring a load of cockroaches over you. I mean, come on.
What do you make of the wrestling then? With Tyson obviously stepping over to WWE.
Look, he's a complete one-off, isn't he?
Absolutely.
He's a one-off. I mean, I don't know what he's doing next. I spoke to him last night. He was at presenting an awards ceremony. He decided he wanted to do it, so he did it. He trained for it and went out there and did it. I know he had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
And he may do some more. I've got no idea. He may want to carry on doing it. He certainly created a stir. This year he's been amazing. All the things he's done.
Yeah.
I mean, you think he's like the fighting, the autobiography.
Yeah. Is he a dream to promote? He must be, because he just does it all.
He's fun. He's fun. And the good thing about it, he's relaxed about it all.
Yeah.
But he's even got a Christmas record out, hasn't he?
With Robbie Williams. It's good as well.
His autobiography went #1 in Amazon.
Yeah.
He's done well for himself, and he's been a joy to be involved with and working with. And he's going to be fighting, as I say, on the 22nd of February. Press announcement will be made next week,
Excellent.
Christmas week. So
There's a lot of speculation about the cuts he suffered in Las Vegas, pushing that fight back, and then, obviously Wilder taking on Ortiz, but coming through the way he did.
Yeah.
There's no issue with those cuts, Frank. No, he seems to be healed.
no, not at the moment. I see him a couple of weeks ago, and they were healing really well. And it's like all the cuts are just time.
Yeah.
And he's had time. And Deontay, I was watching that fight, and I know he's dangerous at every second of the round. He's dangerous against Ortiz, but Ortiz was doing extremely well,
winning.
wasn't he?
Yeah, won every
very
round.
comfortable. And then suddenly he does what he does. Wilder, he just pulls that.
That's why he's so exciting, though.
Yeah,
because he's got that.
anything can happen with him. And he looks for his moment, and he did it.
You've got some of the heavyweight greats, of course, on the wall
Yeah.
here. Where do you think Wilder's punching power rates, Frank?
I
There's
think-
talk
I
now saying he's the
genuinely think-
biggest puncher of all time.
I think he's genuinely is the hardest punching heavyweight certainly in the last 25 odd years. There's no doubt about that. But you look up there, the big punchers, big punching guys like him. And you got to look at the quality of the other heavyweights that he's fought.
Yeah.
And then you look at that generation.
Of course.
that was the golden generation of heavyweights as far. And you think, oh well, the guy, big punchers like Ernie Shavers, massive punchers. Mm-hmm. Some of those guys, and obviously, George Foreman and so forth. They were wrecking machines. But Wilder, at the end of the day, he's so unorthodox. He hits you from the most amazing angles.
Yeah.
And still generates that power.
And it's not like he's a big.
No.
No.
Don't get me wrong. He's not like a big lump or something. He's like. He doesn't look like he carries that power. It's he's got that sort of Tommy Hearns
He's wiry,
look
isn't he?
about him.
That's it.
Long, wiry, and loose limbed, and when he throws one on him, it comes from the bottom of his boots, doesn't it? And it explodes on you. He gets great leverage, and he is dangerous. He's a dangerous man, as Tyson can tell you.
Tyson's news last week that came out. Obviously, Ben Davidson released it first, saying that they'd split. That surprised a lot of boxing fans, surprised us in the boxing media. But did you get wind of that first, Frank? Or when you heard it, were you surprised?
No, I didn't.
Yourself?
I was told, and then I spoke with Tyson, and I also Ben, and I was a bit disappointed for both of them really, because it's been a winning team and it's worked, but they had their reasons, and and thankfully it's amicable.
Yeah.
And who knows, they may work together in the future. But Tyson's obviously is very focused and has to be focused on what's happening on the 22nd of February next year. And he's got the Sugar Hill, Manny Stewart's nephew working with him. And Tyson knows of him, because apparently he worked with him many years ago. And to his credit, to Sugar Hill's credit, Lennox Lewis came out and said he really got a lot of respect from him as a trainer. And Lennox, remember, worked with Manny and so forth. So, it is what it is. one thing's for sure now, we're going to find out on the 22nd. I think Tyson is such a student of boxing. He's got such a good boxing brain.
Yeah.
He's got such good reflexes, fast hands, he's good on his feet and so forth. I don't think there's a lot you can learn him, especially at his age now. It's not like he's a kid.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everybody learns something every day, you should do. But it's, it's the other side of it. Being there, being his confidant.
Yeah.
Spending your time with him, which is a lot of things that Ben did that works. And it's be interesting what sort of rapport that Sugar and Tyson get between them. But he's comfortable, Tyson. As I spoke to him last night, as I said, he was at an awards ceremony, and he's all good to go.
Feb 22nd, Vegas. There you go. Book your tickets, Nick. We're on the way, son. Just a couple of other fighters that I want to know what's going on in 2020. We'll go with Carl Frampton first of all.
Well, Carl busted his hand up in the last fight, and the objective is to try and get him in a world title fight
with Herring.
Yeah. So working on that along with his management team, MTK, and Top Rank to get that together.
Mm-hmm. Ireland, Windsor Park again.
It would make a lot of sense to go to Ireland. That would make a lot of sense.
There you go, Nick. Book that one in as well.
Absolutely.
And Josh Warrington. Loads of chat about where he's going. Is it going to be...
Well, we want to make the fight. We've been working again. We've been talking to them about really working hard to try and make the fight with a unification fight. So I've spoke to everyone. The Chinese guy, Zhu, is with Golden Boy. The management said they wanted it, but Golden Boy said, look, can't we give them a couple more fights each and build the fight up? Well, I don't think we need to build anything with Josh.
No.
Josh over here,
Josh is ready.
And a guy from China fighting a guy from England in the States doesn't make any sense to me. It's a big fight in Leeds, and that Josh sells a lot of tickets, unless they park a truck outside his house full of money to go to China.
Yeah.
Then you've got Gary Russell.
He only fights once a year,
Once
though.
a year
That's the
fighter.
problem. Yeah, that's the problem with him. It's like that flowering cactus, isn't it? Flowers like every 10 years or 100 years it comes out. Well, he's the boxing equivalent. But there's that one we're interested in. But the one I do like the Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah, it's a good
fight.
one,
I've been thinking about it a lot. I've watched it, and it'd be interesting to see where we go with that.
Yeah, opportunities. Because a lot of his fans would like an American trip. I know that he does well in Leeds and he sells well.
I keep saying to him, he's you can't undersell Josh. Not one of those guys I've mentioned can go and sell 20,000 tickets.
No, not at all.
Or 25,000 tickets. He's the man.
Yeah.
And I actually think he's the best out of all of them anyway. I think he is the number one.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the quality of the opposition that he's fought
Absolutely.
over the last 18 months. I can't think of any, from a British point of view, he's probably fought the best opposition out there
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
in his weight division.
Yeah.
Well, all the established champions that you would have ranked above him have ran up to the division above anyway.
They've
Valdez
done
and
that,
Santa
but you look
Cruz
at
and-
like Selby. I think at one stage everybody said he was like the pound for pound best British fighter. I mean, he done a job on him, didn't he? I mean, he absolutely done him in every department. Him and Carl was a great fight, and Carl, to his credit, said he was the toughest guy he's ever fought. He's a very underestimated fighter, and his dad's done a tremendous job in
Yeah.
training
Yeah, he has.
him, Sean.
He has. Anthony Yard.
Well,
What a performance.
10
first of all.
seconds away from being
What a performance.
beating Kovalev. He done extremely well, and I think he just got his tactics wrong. If he'd have done what he'd done in the, I think it was the 8th round.
Yeah.
If he'd have done that earlier, I think he would have stopped him. And he nearly did stop him.
Yeah.
But it's all about experience, and it's like, I mean, all along people saying, when's he going to fight someone? All that crap. Well, he was fighting decent fighters. I don't care what anyone says, and it was the limited amateur experience he had. He only had 11 fights. I mean, he had. You think how many fights Kovalev had? He was the gold medalist. He had more amateur fights than he had pro, let alone all the pro fights and title. He probably had more title fights than he had fights. But he's he done extremely well, and I think he showed that he belongs up there in that class. And Canelo's just vacated the title.
Yeah.
So we're working hard to try and get him in that mix to fight for it again. I spoke to Tunde. I met with Anthony and Tunde, and we were thinking about fighting before Christmas, but he made his mind up, and I agree with him that he would come back early in 2020.
nice rest, and then come back. Exciting division that,
Yeah,
light
it
heavyweight
is.
division. He's
It
most
is.
certainly proved
And he's
that he can live.
and he is exciting.
Yeah.
Will he be at the fight Saturday night?
I hope
Be
so.
good to see him around the
Oh, I
fights
hope
this
so,
week.
I
Yeah.
hope so.
Cool. Thank you very much for your time.
It's a pleasure as always, fellas.